You're going to absolutely love this Savor online class. What I've created is a Hazelnut Paris-Brest. We have choux pastry, sablé or croustillant as it's called on top. It's then filled in the base with a crunch layer with pure hazelnut paste, roasted hazelnuts and milk chocolate, and that is topped with a hazelnut cream. We've got some garnishes on top, some additional hazelnut cream, some chocolate and some hazelnuts, and finished with some icing sugar. This is a sablé or the croustillant layer. It's quite simple. It's pretty much all ingredients in. So we're going to add in salt, some sugar, some plain or all-purpose flour. We have some unsalted butter, which is at room temperature. So if we are going to mix all the ingredients together like this, the butter needs to be at room temperature. We don't want to incorporate any air into this mixture. We're simply going to bring it all together until it's smooth and we have no lumps of butter. You can also do this process in the food processor. You're just going to bring it together as a dough. I'm going to roll the sablé between two pieces of baking paper. Now you need to cut these to the size of your freezer. So if you've got a domestic freezer at home, you need to cut the paper so it's going to sit flat in your freezer. These sheets that I've got are 400 millimeters by 600 millimeters. So place another sheet on top. You don't need any flour because these are obviously non-stick. Just press it down. Then I'm going to roll this out to approximately 2 millimeters in thickness. Now this is going to be quite soft, so don't try to separate the two pieces of paper. You're going to place this in the freezer as it is for approximately an hour or until it's firm enough to cut and handle. You can keep this in the freezer for a long period of time, so you can make this up to 4 weeks in advance, keep it in the freezer and then cut it as required, or you can cut them out and store them in the freezer until you have your choux pastry ready. So this is now fully frozen. As I said, you can either cut it now and place it back into the freezer, or you can actually just cut it when your choux pastry is ready. But I'm going to cut it now, place it back into the freezer. So I'm using a round cutter, which is 85 millimeters on the outside. And I'm using an internal cutter, which is 30 millimeters. So try to center that as much as you can. And we cut as many of these as we can close together. The beauty of doing this in advance is you can take all your scraps and re-roll them and cut another lot of sablé. This recipe is going to make 12 Paris-Brests. You can halve it. There's no problem with any of the ingredients if you're just wanting to make 6. We're creating the choux pastry now. So choux pastry is very versatile and it's used as a base for lots of different French patisseries. So we can do a religious, we can do a choux puff, we can do an eclair, and of course the Paris-Brest. Then you go on to things like Saint Honoré. So there's so much you can do with this one single pastry. It's a great pastry to have as part of your repertoire. I'm going to place some water in the saucepan, some milk. Now the milk is going to give the pastry some colour. So some choux pastry recipes just have water and some have water and milk powder, but having that little bit of lactose sugar and milk protein in there means it's going to brown a little bit more. A little bit of sugar, but choux pastry can also be used for savoury applications. Unsalted butter. So we use unsalted butter and then we add salt, which is strange, I know, but that way we get to control the amount of salt that we add. Salted butters really do vary in the amount of salt they have, and they really vary in the quality. I use a cultured unsalted butter, which means the cream was fermented before it was churned. You can just use a standard unsalted. For me, my preference is to use a cultured unsalted butter because the flavour is beautiful. I'm going to bring this to a boil. Don't let it boil for too long or else you're going to evaporate too much water. As soon as it comes to a boil, I'm going to add a plain or all-purpose flour. Now for me, I'm going to sieve that in. You don't have to sieve yours in. The type of flour I'm using is from a local Australian company called Lauki, but it's really quite wet. So if I put it in something like the choux pastry, I'm going to get lumps unless I sieve it in. Most flours will be fine without sieving. That's come to a boil. I've turned it off. I'm going to add in the flour. Now I'm going to stir that. You need a really firm spoon without the heat on. Make sure all the flour is fully incorporated before we turn the heat back on. Now that that's fully incorporated, I'm going to turn the heat back on. We're going to stir it until we start to get an oily sheen on the surface, which means the gluten is contracting and pushing the butter to the outside. We want to develop the gluten, which is going to give us a structure for the choux pastry. So this step is really essential to ensure we do that. We'll also come away from the sides and work its way into a ball as it's doing now. That way we know that it's almost ready to come off the heat. Turning the heat off, and I don't know if you can see there on the camera, but it's starting to reflect light a little bit. It's got a little bit of a shine to it, a little bit of a shimmer. And I know now that I can actually turn that off. Now you can cool this down before adding in your eggs, but if you add your eggs in slow enough, you don't have to do that. You can put this straight into the mixing bowl. So transferring it to a mixing bowl. It's never a great job to clean the saucepan afterwards, I'll tell you that up front. Now, how many eggs is a choux pastry going to take? It should take approximately the amount I've given you, but it may need a little bit more egg or you may need a little bit less. And that really depends on how long you cooked your pastry on the stovetop and how long you boiled the liquid before you added the flour. If you boiled the liquid before adding the flour for a long period of time, you're going to have evaporated more water, which means you'll need to add more eggs. If you cooked it on the stove for a little bit longer than I have, then you may need to add more eggs. If you've done the reverse and you haven't cooked it quite enough, it's not going to take as many eggs, but I am going to show you how to test it. So we start slow, and you can't add your eggs too quickly or else the mixture is going to separate and then there's no recovering from that. You'll have to start again. Break all your eggs up before you start adding them in. Little bits of egg at a time, so just really a little drizzle, and let that fully incorporate before you add any more. I'm going to show you how to check the consistency. You can see that I haven't added all the egg, so we take just a metal spoon, we scoop it, and then we tip this on its side so the choux pastry should just glide off slowly. If it holds on the spoon, it means we need more egg. If it actually just slowly glides off, it means we're ready to pipe. So you can see there that we've got a slow movement, which tells me that this pastry is ready to pipe. So take note, I do have just a little bit of egg left over. I didn't need to add it all, which is why you need to test the consistency before all the eggs are added. Maybe test it when you've added about 3/4 of your egg, and then if needed, you can add a little bit more and just keep testing as you go. For my Paris-Brest, I'm actually going to use a mold. You don't have to do this, you can simply pipe them. We do have another Paris-Brest by Nicholas Halloran in our library, and he does show you the technique of actually piping the Paris-Brest and putting the sablé on top. I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to use a mold, but this is a little trick that I developed by actually putting the sablé in the mold first, then piping the choux pastry on top and freezing it and unmolding it together. If you're not great at piping, which I'm sure you all are, this is a great way to get a uniform finished choux pastry. So this sablé is straight from the freezer, so we need it to soften just a little bit. To pipe the choux pastry while we're waiting for the sablé layer to soften, I'm using a 15mm plain piping nozzle. This can also be referred to as a piping tip, a piping tube, or as I just said, piping nozzle. Once they're flexible, we're just going to drop them in. Try not to trap any air. I find this is a much easier way to get the croustillant or the sablé layer on top of your choux pastry and to ensure that it's even, because quite often we put a flat frozen disc where we can't see once it's defrosted and once it's flexible where it's actually going to sit and lie. By doing it this way, we ensure that it's very, very even. When you're making this sablé layer, it's really essential that it's not too thick. I said 2 millimeters. You can go as thin as 1 millimeter, but you certainly don't want to be any thicker. If you are any thicker, it's going to crack as it's baking, and then you're going to get big tears and rips in the pastry. Once these are in place, you're ready to pipe in your choux pastry. So I just twist the bag and push it back into the nozzle. When you look at this mixture, keep in mind that it's going to make 12 Paris-Brests. Pull up the top of the bag, pull out the nozzle, and then push the mixture down. Twist the back of the bag as you go. Now we're going to pipe it in one motion. So make sure there's lots of tension on the piping bag, twist the back of the bag, and we're piping in. We're just going to go to the top of that sablé level. You can level it out with a spatula, but what you need to keep in mind is choux pastry mixture is very, very sticky. So it's going to more likely stick to your spatula and distort the shape more. So it is better once you've piped it just to let it be. Now I'm going to freeze this completely before I'm molding it, and that's going to give you a true baking time that is the same as what I'm doing. So I'm going to freeze this. You can freeze it at -18 degrees. If you're using a -18 degree freezer, this is going to take at least 3 hours to freeze. If you're using a blast freezer, it's going to take about 20 minutes. Once they're frozen, we're going to unmold them and you can bake them. What I love about this technique as well is I can unmold these at any time, store them in the freezer, then bake them off fresh as I need them. These are now fully frozen. So I'm going to unmold them and placing them on a lined tray. Now I am baking these in a fan-forced oven. Traditionally, choux pastry will always respond better with a deck oven, but using this mold in combination with the sablé ensures that we get a really good outcome and a really even shape. To ensure that these don't crack, we need to ensure that they rise slowly. So to do that, we're going to set the temperature at 130 degrees Celsius. We're going to put these in straight from the freezer. You can defrost them first, but obviously your baking time will be less. So the first stage is 130 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Then you're going to increase the temperature in the oven to 150 degrees Celsius, where we're going to continue to bake them for a further 15 minutes. So we've already got 15 minutes at 130 degrees Celsius. Then we've got 15 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius. Then we go on to stage 3 of baking, which is 170 degrees for approximately 12 to 15 minutes. Now, I always mention I'm working with a commercial oven, so it may take longer in your oven. You're going to look for a beautiful, nice golden brown color. Once they've reached that final temperature, I recommend you turn off the oven, pull the door ajar to let some steam out and just let them dry out a little bit with the residual heat. I have some milk couverture chocolate here, which I've heated to roughly 33-34 degrees Celsius. We don't have to exactly temper this when we're adding other ingredients that are ambient, so at room temperature, but you must ensure that this isn't too hot. I melt it for 30 seconds at a time till I've got half liquid, half solid chocolate, and then I give it a really good vigorous stir. Now I have some hazelnuts here which I've roasted at 160 degrees Celsius for approximately 12 to 15 minutes or until they're a nice golden brown color. Once they're roasted, remove the skins and then roughly chop them. You need to chop them so that they're fine enough that they can go through a piping nozzle. I'm going to add these into the chocolate, some salt, and I have a pure hazelnut paste. So this is hazelnuts ground down to a smooth paste. If you have a stone grinder, you can do this yourself, or you can purchase a commercial product. The one I'm using is a Calabar pure hazelnut paste. So the difference between the pure hazelnut paste and praline paste is that the pure hazelnut paste is not sweetened. So this is a crunch layer that's going to go into the base of our Paris-Brest. Once you've got this ready, we can cut the Paris-Brest. Once these are baked, I cool them at room temperature and then I freeze them until I'm going to fill them. So these can stay in an airtight container in the freezer for up to 4 weeks. I use a serrated edge knife to cut them. I want the top to be slightly thicker than the base. As you're cutting the Paris-Brest, make sure you rotate them around as you're cutting. Don't cut from one side to the other. Start from the outside and just rotate it as you go. We're going to remove the dough inside the pastry so that we can fit more filling in and less dough. So this pastry here isn't fantastic to eat. You can leave it in, but I much prefer to remove it from both sides of the Paris-Brest. I'm going to pipe the crunch layer in. Something I should mention as well is that choux pastry is always best eaten on the same day it's made. So I'm just using a 10mm piping nozzle to pipe in the crunch layer. I'm going to pipe a small amount into the base of each Paris-Brest. This cream filling is delicious but so simple. So if you haven't got pure nut paste, both for the base and for the cream, at a push you can use peanut butter, just don't tell me, or you can use a pistachio paste if you're wanting to. Make sure the cream is really cold before you add it in. Add in some sieved pure icing sugar, some vanilla bean paste, and we have some pure hazelnut paste. So 100% hazelnuts, no added sugar. We're going to whip this until it reaches a piping consistency. We've brought the cream to a whip consistency, so you can see that it's holding beautifully, which is perfect for piping. I'm using an 11mm star nozzle. Now this star nozzle, the teeth are really quite tight and very close together. You can really use any star nozzle you want, or even a plain nozzle. Now in terms of full disclosure, I must tell you that using a cream rather than a custard in the Paris-Brest will make the pastry go softer a little bit faster because this does contain more water. Roll the top of the piping bag down. If you've got warm hands, only put small amounts of cream in the piping bag at a time because the heat of your hands can actually split the cream. Now I'm going to pipe in a circular motion. You can rotate the Paris-Brest as you need. So we start on the inside and we rotate out, keeping within the pastry. I'm going to finish the tops of the Paris-Brest with some gold metallic. Now the beauty of the sablé on top is it's very open and porous and it holds the gold really well, so it will really stand out. You won't need a lot. So just a brush, take off the excess, and we're just going to give them a little bit of a shimmer. This is optional, so you don't have to do this step. Place the tops on. I'm going to pipe on top of the Paris-Brest, but I'm going to use a slightly smaller star nozzle. This is a 9mm star nozzle opposed to the 11mm. I'm just going to pop it over the top rather than starting a whole new bag. So we're just going to pipe a few dots. Now I'm just piping slightly different size stars and I'm ensuring that they're not very even. So I think it looks more appealing for a decoration than having them all even. We're going to place some roasted hazelnuts on top. I'm going to place just some milk chocolate buttons. We're going to finish with a dusting of icing sugar. So here we have my finished hazelnut Paris-Brest.